Hey, it's Mel here from simplylive.com.au, doing another video on pet sitting. I've done a couple already that are in this particular little series, as well as a few others. I've done one on the advantages that I find in pet sitting, and also the potential pitfalls and things that you need to consider prior to taking on a sit and making sure that it's going to work well for you. So make sure that you have a look at those if it's of interest to you. This one, though, I was asked a few other little questions, and so I'm going to run through those now in hopefully a shorter video. So it's more about the process. One question I was asked was the process of how to get a pet sit, and how do you go about that and make sure that you secure them. Well, first of all, you're going to have to apply for lots. First of all, I would suggest that you apply for pet sits in your local area already, and through friends of friends, people you know, because the first few are a bit hard to get because you haven't got any references, nobody knows you. So you need to get a few under your belt, you need to get some practice, find out the differences in people in different homes, things like that. And then you just have to apply for a lot of them. And then someone thankfully will trust you and give you a go, and then you can get more references, and then it gets easier and easier. But there's still a lot I don't get for whatever reason, many reasons. You just have to keep applying for them. Ways to make your application stand out. Well, if you're applying on a site where there's a lot of people vying for it, I think one of the critical things, just like a job, is you have to do an individual application. So apart from obviously putting your own history in there, but you've got to address their concerns. So if they've said they've got 3 rescue dogs, you're going to talk to them about your ability to deal with rescue dogs and address that specifically, their needs for their animal. You need to show them that you can look after their animal, that you've done rescue pets before, that you understand what they will need. So if that's a requirement. If they say they have a super snuggly cat that loves company, tell them that you work largely from home, or that you like to spend time on your computer and you love to have a cat sitting on your lap. That you're not always out sightseeing all of the time, if you're not always out sightseeing all of the time, all of those sorts of things. If you're happy to have pets in bed and they seem like super snuggly pets, tell them you're quite happy to have pets in bed with you. So just making it applicable to the requirements of those pets and that particular pet sit. If they've said they've wanted a couple or a single, then obviously you've got to make sure that that applies. If they've said that they want a person with a car, I've actually applied for a number without a car and said, look, I understand you think that you want a car, but as long as probably you're within 5 k's of a town, I'm okay with that. People just have an expectation. A lot of people don't like to walk very far, and they assume that nobody else does. So I at least apply if it's a sit I'd like to do and say, I don't have a car, but I don't see it as a problem because you've said you're X distance from the town. But if you know something about the town that I don't, that makes it a problem, that's fine. But otherwise, I'm happy to have a look at it. Let's chat. Making sure that you put a contact phone number, preferably from WhatsApp if you're in Europe. I think other areas are the same. WhatsApp's really big in Europe. But a way for them to contact you straight away. I've had a few people say that, the going back through a website is a bit of a pain in the neck for them. So when they can just, cut through 10 applications or 50 applications just by going, let's just pick up the phone and contact this person. I say, contact me at any time on this number. Then they get their questions answered and it makes it easier for them. So yeah, just addressing their needs specifically. And, if they want their garden done or their pool done and you're a fantastic gardener, tell them. If you're not, don't lie, obviously. Another question was, do I talk to the clients before getting to a sit or before accepting a sit? Yes, I talk to them before accepting a sit. It has been very rare for me. I've only done it twice, I think, where I've not actually physically spoken to them on WhatsApp or similar before I accepted a sit. And one of those times is coming up, and the other one I did do, I completely regretted it. So I think it's really important. You need to get a feel for the person, and then even more importantly, you need to listen to that. And I have been guilty of that, going, I don't know if I want to do this sit. Is there something about this person I'm not comfortable with? It's not necessarily that they're bad. Go with that gut. If it tells you not to do it, unless you're absolutely desperate, don't do it. And if you do it and it turns out badly, that's you just got to accept that as par for the course. So the other thing with that is clarifying your expectations, and I did talk about that in the other video. I might pop that in the link, in the pitfalls and considerations and what to think about in advance. And I won't go through that all again now. Go and have a look at the other video on the pitfalls and considerations. You need to know that you're on the same page with respect to, you know, what they're expecting from you, whether that fits in with your travel plans, what you can and can't use in their house, who's paying for what, all of those sorts of things. So go and have a look at that and trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Also, what else is there? The other thing in advance to know is how you're going to get there if you're talking to them beforehand. So are they going to, if you're going to go to the local biggest city, are they going to come and collect you from that city if it's 10 minutes away, if it's half an hour away, if it's an hour away or 2 hours away, or an airport? Or do you have to then from the airport catch a bus into their local town? Are you expected to walk from that bus station to their home, or will they come and collect you from there? Because you're carrying luggage, so you've got to make sure. I've done most of the ones that I do, I will walk right to their door. But it's really awesome when someone says that they will pick me up, and I accept it gratefully. But if you have health issues or it's hard work for you, you've got to factor that in to make sure that you can get there easily. If you have a car, you have to make sure there's somewhere you can park in their area. So how are you going to get to and from the sit? Obviously, the length of the sit. And a lot of times when someone lists the sit, they'll put, say, for the dates from the 10th to the 20th. You need to understand whether that means that they are leaving on the 10th and they actually need you on the 9th, and that they're arriving back on the 20th and they'd like you to stay until either the night of the 20th or the day of the 21st. Or does that mean that they want you there on the 10th because they're leaving on the 11th, and so on? So you need to clarify the exact dates and jot them down, because when you're then looking for your next sit, you need to think, well, that person said that they were coming back in the morning of the 20th. So I should be able to accept a sit that's only an hour or two away and I've got to be there in the afternoon. Or no, I need to get one a few days later. So understand your arrival and departure times. And also, if you haven't got a car for yourself, or they're not letting you use their car or bike, is it walkable distance that is right for you? And for some people, they want to be right in centro in the city and they consider that walkable, or that the supermarket's only within a kilometre of their house. For me, 3 to 5 kilometres is quite an acceptable walk for me to be able to get to the nearest shops or supermarket in particular. I do like a coffee shop a bit closer if I can help it, if it's possible. So make sure that the distance to the shops, the bus stop, if you need a bus stop, or train station, whatever is around, the beach, the city, those places that you want to get to or need to be able to get transport to get to, make sure that you can get there via walking, if you don't have a car, or via bike or whatever. And once again, think about it if there's inclement weather or it's super hot. If it's 40-degree heat and you're having to walk 5Ks to catch a bus to go to the beach for an hour, it's not going to work for you. So have a think about that beforehand. So those are the questions that I talk to the clients about, apart from just getting to know them generally and talking about the pet's needs. Also asking about whether the pets need medication, and if they need medication and a pill's got to get stuck down their throat, are you comfortable to do that? Do they have a pill popper that you can put it down their throat? Even so, I'm really reluctant to do that with dogs, because sometimes dogs don't love strangers at the best of times. When you're going to shove their fingers down their throat, they can bite you. So do they work with little pill pockets? Do they put their pills in the food? In which case, that's easy, that's fine. But you've got to factor in that you can do the things. If they need medication on a sore leg, is the dog going to bite you? And I'll tell you what, I've copped so many scratches from cats trying to get pills down their throat. So, cats are actually tougher. The other thing clarifying before, which I did mention in the other video, so check it out, is just whether the animals are destructive, because you've got to decide if that's a problem for you. If they're going to take half your underwear and bury it in the backyard, if they're going to rip apart your luggage, and if they're going to chew your computer cords and your only replacements are from Australia, that is a big problem that you need to factor in. It doesn't matter if the client's the host is willing to compensate you for it. If it's irreplaceable, you have to consider, is it worth me taking that job on? So that's that question answered. The final one was, what little extras do I do for clients on sits? Look, how far you go with this is really up to you and what you're comfortable with. And, it varies. The more generous a client is with me, and I'm talking generosity of spirit, I'm not talking financial generosity, I'm talking generosity of spirit, the more I like to do for them in advance. But even if I love to do it, sometimes I just don't get time. Sometimes, especially if it's a short sit and the timing is odd, or they get back after I've left, or I'd love to do something nice for them and I just don't get the opportunity to. So you can, if you're financially flush, you can buy them a little trinket from the town before, probably not from their town, but if you've just come from a different country, pick up something little for them. Sometimes people want something for their pets, a little pet collar or something. But I think the most important thing, rather than getting too carried away with that, is just to give so much to their pets that they can feel that. They want to know that their pets are loved and they're cared for, and there's generosity from you in doing that, in giving your time and attention to those pets, and it's important to you. Most people will want you to send them pictures or updates of how everything's going as a minimum by text. Most will want pictures and or videos. Now, it's really important for you to clarify how much they want you to do that and stick with that, because I've had most people kind of wants it once a day or once every, if it's a longer sit, it kind of drags out to once every second or third day. I tend to do it at least once a day if they say it's okay for the first few days, just so they're reassured everything's fine. And then if it's a long sit, stretch it out a bit more after that, because sometimes you're out all day and you're only mucking around at night just to say all's good. It's just crazy. But, funny things happen and you get a photo of the cat doing something stupid or funny or cute, and the dogs, let them know they're out walking with the ball, all of that sort of stuff. But I have had not just one or two, but quite a number who went, I'm on holidays, leave me alone. I don't want to be dealing with text messages. I don't have a SIM that accepts those calls. So don't bombard them with stuff if they don't want it. Simply, ask them if they just a once a week, all is good here. That's all. Don't tell them. And I've had a couple who said, do not contact me unless there's an emergency. I don't want to know. Your job is to deal with it. Unless there's an emergency, unless you've called the vet, unless the house is falling apart, don't contact me. Don't want to know. Just deal with it. So stick with that. Make sure that the house is immaculate to their standard. And I have talked about this a bit in another video as well. I like to make sure it's as clean and a bit cleaner than when they left. If they have an immaculate home when you walk into it, then it should be an immaculate home when you leave. If someone has a nice clean home that's tidy, but it's lived in and looks great, then do that and just buff up a few things to make it look nice and a little bit special for them when they get back. Sometimes, depending on when they're coming back and when you're leaving, if you can make a little bit of a meal for them, if they've just got off a plane, especially if they're coming in really late, they won't care in the morning so much, but if they've just spent 24 hours on a plane, little things like that are nice to have. But I honestly think, sometimes people do that just to make up for the fact they ignored their animals the whole time they were away and they just want to look good. So I think the number one priority is just to give all your love, care and attention to the pets, and anything else is a bonus. Make sure that you've cleaned up after yourself. So obviously, if you've just got out of, you're leaving in the morning, strip down your bed and wash it if you can. But if they need to use the washing machine because they've just got back from holidays, don't do that. But at least strip down everything, make sure that your room is clean and tidy so that their next pet sitter or their next guest can come straight in. And I think that's the most critical thing. If you want to do out of the little niceties, that's well and good. And I honestly generally don't, and it's not because I'm mean-spirited. I just think that sometimes people do that out of a fakeness. I certainly go out of my way to try and make my hosts feel that everything was good while they were away, and that their home is as they want it when they get back, and that's the big priority. So I hope that helps with some questions on pet sitting. There are two others in this series. I just flung myself. 2 others in this series about pet sitting that you can check out as well, and some other little random ones that I've done previously too. If you like this, if you got some benefit out of it, please make sure you like the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. If you feel that there's other benefit in other areas for you, share the video, not just for your friends directly or for your close circle, but to other wider friends and family as well, because you never know who might be thinking of doing something different, having a cheap holiday or wanting just to do some pet sitting as a lifestyle thing as well. So it may not just be what you need. So please share around, like and share and thumbs up, all of those good things. Thanks guys, have a great day.